I'm still kind of reeling from this film.
Yeah, I wrote the review this morning, and I'm still reeling from it.
This film is called Saltburn. It will eventually end up on streaming on Prime Video on Amazon. It's the story of a young man at college who befriends the BMOC, or the big man on campus. This incredibly good-looking colleague at the school. He kind of saves him. The name of the character is Felix Catton. And so Barry Keoghan plays this guy, Oliver Quick, and he befriends Felix. Felix is incredibly good looking. All the women love him. The men love him. He's the big man on campus. He's the hero. He's the good guy. And Oliver is just sort of a regular dude on campus. He befriends Felix by lending him a bicycle so he can get to class on time. And they end up forming a friendship. In a way, Felix kind of feels sorry for Oliver because Oliver isn't popular. He's, just maybe a smaller dude. And Felix is like this, statuesque, big, like I say, BMOC, big man on campus. As people are going back for the holidays, Oliver confesses, I don't have family to go back to. And I recently lost my father. And Felix invites Oliver over to his family's place. We go to what's called Saltburn, which is effectively this manor, huge manor. It's so big. It's one of those things where, everyone kind of has their own wing, and you meet other members of the family, of the Catton family. You meet Rosamund Pike, who plays Elizabeth. She's the matriarch of the family. Carey Mulligan plays a woman named Pamela, who's just a family friend. And they're all drunken rich people. They're drinking at all hours of the day. They're partying. Of course, they have butlers and attendants because the place that they live is so huge. And of course, Oliver is taken aback by all of this opulent luxury and decadence. And things begin to spiral out of control. I will say this. For the first half of the movie, I found it infuriating. I found that none of these characters were particularly likable. They were just decadent, rich a-holes. And Oliver's kind of thrown into this world. And you see there are sexual dalliances, there is violence, and there's a lot of bizarre, unexplained behavior that could only be explained by, well, they're just a bunch of rich, decadent idiots. I don't know if you want to elaborate on this, Alan.
No, you can't. There's so much not to spoil in this.
Exactly. And then there is, and I'm not going to say what it is, there is something that happens at the very end of the movie that completely changes the movie you just saw. Not going to say what it is, but it's at the very end, that everything you've seen, you will look at 100% completely differently by the end. I did not love this film. I thought it was being weird for weird's sake. But the thing is this, I will say this, I love these actors. Like Barry Keoghan, the guy who plays Felix, Jacob Elordi. I don't know where I've seen him.
He played Elvis in Priscilla.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I never saw Priscilla, but I think that he's very good. And Rosamund Pike, always liked her. Ever since Gone Girl, really, really love her performance. So I just don't. Oh, and the guy from Gran Turismo, Archie Madekwe, he's in the film too. And he's also really good actors in.
You haven't even mentioned Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, Richard E. Grant also.
He plays the patriarch.
Yeah, the patriarch of the family. He's very good. So really good actors, chewing scenery, acting weird like they might be in a David Lynch film. And it's hard to find who am I rooting for? Who do I like? Even Oliver Quick, who's the protagonist, who you're supposed to like, you don't really trust him. And he's just acting weird for weird's sake. He's seducing all members of the family in some weird way. He he gains their trust.
Right. Well, I mean, you're speaking to this. This is a movie about class, and
Exactly.
you're looking at a lower class person. He's at Oxford on scholarship. Dad died, mother's on drugs, and he's given a taste of the opulent life at Saltburn,
Right.
and wants that life. You also, there's also there's a lot of implications that Oliver is in love with Felix.
Right.
Um, and you kind of the whole movie is about Oliver and this kind of his journey, his path, in into a very dark direction. Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt the same way you did, except I was somewhat enjoying the first half of the movie, and then it just completely I turned turned me off
Yeah,
midway through.
it did
There was
for me.
this grave situation that just went on forever, and I checked out of the movie at that point, and for the rest of the movie, I had nothing but hatred for this film. And I'll say this: look, Emerald Fennell, she won me over with Promising Young Women, and then lost me with this movie. It's she look, she's a legit filmmaker. This movie is beautiful. The performances are great, but this story goes dark and dark and dark in a direction that, after a while, it was too much. It was too much, and I checked out. I disengaged from the film and was just waiting for the final moments, which at this point was not surprising
Right, right.
because because it's like, how worse could it get? Oh, it got worse.
It got even worse. But I'll say this. I did talk to somebody who saw the film, and I was saying how much I was like wanting to like it because
Mm.
that the cast is really fantastic. I wanted to like this, and I do like exploration of class disparity. I think is always interesting in movies. Um, like I mean, the movie Parasite, I think, is all
Mhm.
about that. I don't even think you could make an English version of Parasite because that film is so dark.
Yeah.
But this film, I just didn't like anybody. I had no sympathy. Even Oliver, who you're supposed to like, I'm like, why is he acting this way? And it really did lose me. It did lose me. But someone mentioned me. They said, look, I said, I know. I felt the same way when I first saw it. This person had seen the film a second time. He says it's so much better the second time because you know what's coming and you can kind of pay attention to more of the details and you notice things. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you lost. I'm not going to see it a second time.
Yeah. I mean, the things they do is not more nuanced seeing it the second time. I mean, that's I get it. We all like those movies that takes a twist at the end and redefines the entire everything that you've just seen.
Right.
But you still have to see everything that you've just seen. And you talk about this all the time, but the job of a director is tone management. And this one just went way off the ledge, in terms of tone, and to the point where it's not salvageable.
Let's go to your. So I really can't, in good
I can't
conscience,
rec
I can't recommend this film.
I mean, if you're if you're a masochist or you have a morbid curiosity, you'll probably go see this movie. But other than that, it's not a recommendation.
And morbid, I would describe many of the moments in this film. But it seems weird for weird's sake, and it felt like you know. It just felt like this is based on a novel that somebody read the novel and said, "Oh my God, this would make such a great movie." And I don't know. I feel like you still have to have something grounding.
By the way, what do you think of Barry Keegan's helicopter at the end of the end of the movie?
I don't. It,
I know.
yeah. So yeah, obviously, uh, the only way to even enjoy this film, if that's possible, is to just stay away from spoilers.
Mhm.
So stay away from spoilers and
And drink heavily before going.
but here's what I'll say, because I talked to a bunch of people after the screening. It is 50-50. People either loved the film
Yeah.
or hated this movie. I was in the not for me camp, but I was hearing people saying, "Oh my God, it's so great. This is one of my
Yeah.
favorites of the year." And
Because
the audience,
I mean, I was thinking that while watching it, it's like people are going to tell everyone this is a brave movie.
Right,
It-
right.
you know, this, and I'm like, wow. I mean, you know, it's there's some Kool-Aid drinking going on here.
Yeah. Well, not a recommend for me, Alan.
Not a recommend.